Hello and welcome back to the Joyful Soul Creates. Charlotte here, and today I have a video for the Kat Scrappiness blog hop and sale to benefit the coffee Oasis. I will have all the details for this linked down below, and I'll talk about it a bit later in the video as well. The theme for the hop is winter, so I'm going to be making a winter card, and I'm going to be using the stitched scallop border dies from Kat Scrappiness. These are actually the only item I have from Kat Scrappiness, so I knew I really wanted to use them, and they were the starting point for my idea for this card. I'm starting with a long snippet of white glittery cardstock, and I'm going to cut it with the dies to make like snowy hills. This is already the width of my card front, so I just need to trim it down each time so that the hills are the correct height that I want. So I trimmed the first one with the rounded border, and then I'm using the smallest wavy border for my next hill, and I will again measure that and use my paper trimmer to trim off the excess, and then I'll use the last snippet of the glitter cardstock to make a third hill, and I'm using the slightly bigger wavy die for this one. I thought as it's more in the foreground it made sense for it to be a little bit bigger. There is an even bigger one which I could have used if I was going to do another hill, but I felt that 3 was enough, and also odd numbers look good, so that's why I went with 3 hills. So I'll just trim the last little bit off the end of that and then move on to my next step, which is going to be creating my ink blended sky background. So I've put down my craft mat just to protect my work surface, using a pencil to mark on where I need my sky to start so I'm not wasting ink by going down too far. I'll mask off the back of my card so I don't get any ink where I don't want it. And then I'm going to use Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink. This is the lightest blue that I have. I think Broken China is lighter if you have that, but this is what I had, so this is what I went with. And I only want just a touch of colour. I want my card to be mostly white, but I did want to add a little interest and colour to the sky with this blue. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just keeping it very light and blending it in. And whilst I'm doing the blending, I'll just very quickly tell you a bit about the hop. So the hop is to benefit Coffee Oasis, which is an organisation in Washington State. It helps youth, basically. There are programs for drug abuse, homelessness, violence and poverty. And as I said, there will be a link below to where you can read about the programs that Coffee Oasis does. So the purpose of the hop is to bring awareness to Coffee Oasis and hopefully raise some money to support them. Kat Scrappiness will be donating 15% of all the sale proceeds to Coffee Oasis. And there are also other sponsors providing prizes for participants, as well as Kat Scrappiness. I added up earlier and I think there's about $1,000 worth of prizes if I calculated correctly, so there's lots of prizes, definitely worth taking a look and playing along. And I will link to where you can find the information on the prizes over on the main page of the hop. You can also donate to the cause directly if you like, and I will have a link below to where you can do that, and you can also find all the information in my blog post. Okay, so back to the card. Having finished my ink blending, I'm going to add some subtle snow to the background, and I'm using the Falling Snow stencil from Love from Lizi. I've just laid it over my background and spritzed with some water that has some perfect pearls in for a little shimmer. It was a bit too subtle though, so I flipped the stencil around and went in again, and this time I'm using embossing ink and I'm going to brush perfect pearls directly on top of this. The perfect pearls will stick to the embossing ink and give a nice shimmery look to it. So this way I got the subtlest snow from the water and then slightly more intense with the perfect pearls, but it's still quite subtle. My camera cut out. I didn't realise it wasn't filming when I started doing the sentiment, but this sentiment is from the Cat's Pajamas Penguin Christmas stamp set, and I've just heat embossed it onto a strip of vellum. I then used my craft mat to check if it was straight, which it wasn't, so I'm just going to trim down a little off the bottom edge to make that straight, and I'll use my craft knife and a metal ruler to do this. And then I also wanted to make the strip a bit smaller anyway, so I will trim some more off the top as well. I do tend to keep even small bits of paper and vellum just because they can work well for these kinds of sentiment strips if you want to add them to cards. I like to make use of my snippets when I can. To attach the vellum to the card, I'm going to line it up on my frontmost hill and then wrap it around and adhere it behind. So I just used a little bit of washi tape to hold it on in the front so it wouldn't move whilst I was getting it stuck into place. Put some double-sided tape over the flaps to keep that vellum from moving, just making sure with my craft mat that it's still properly straight. And then I also added more more double-sided tape over the back of that hill so that I could attach it to the middle hill. You could, if you want, use foam tape here to add more dimension, but I thought the hills have enough dimension as they are without having the foam tape. But it's all a matter of opinion. So I added the third hill as well with more double-sided tape. Then I'll fold and score my card base, making sure it's nice and crisp with my bone folder. And then I'll attach the hills directly to the card base with some more double-sided tape. And that completes my simple winter card. I like the shimmer in the background from the Perfect Pearls. The camera doesn't pick it up brilliantly, but it does add a nice touch to it, I think. As I said before, all the details for the hop will be linked down below. I hope you'll go over and check it all out. It's a very worthy cause, so definitely worth taking a look. And as I also said, there are a lot of prizes. There are 2 ways to enter to win the prizes. You can either link up and join in with the hop, just make any winter card and link it up between now and the 10th of December. Alternatively, one of the super commenters who has commented everywhere will also win a prize. So lots of prizes to be won, and we hope you will come and join in. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button below, and if you didn't, you can hit the dislike button that's next to it. You can hit the subscribe button on screen to subscribe and make sure you know every time I post my future videos. There are a couple of other videos on screen that you may enjoy, and be sure to head over to my blog to check out all the details on the hop. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!